It's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Hareld, and Araceli Aviles. And now, let's dish. Why, hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we are serving up a full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. And in case you guys have forgotten, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on Twitter. And also, if you guys haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching us live on the YouTube, hey, go ahead and click that subscribe button if you haven't. If you're listening to us on the podcast station, when you're done, go over to YouTube and subscribe to our channel. But if you're on YouTube and you haven't listened to the podcast, go on over to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. We are located on all of your favorite podcast station platforms. Just look up Dishin Days, and guess what? You'll find us. Also, make sure you be so nice and kind and let everyone know what a true Dishin Days fans you are by buying the merch. Go on over to dishindays.threadless.com and find yourself one of these. A lovely Meliswin possessed Dishin Days logo, or serving up a full dish on a t-shirt, towel, notebook pad, sticker, mug, or even a cell phone case, I think. But if you want to know for sure, go ahead and head on over to dishindays.threadless.com. And also make sure you go and visit my wonderful chocolate twin. James Lott Jr. is doing all sorts of dramas and soaps and all the things over on his YouTube channel, JLJ Media. For a full soap opera fix with Young and the Restless and General Hospital recaps, head on over to James Lott Jr. YouTube channel, JLJ Media, and also check out his original written by him, audio dramas. You will be teased and tantalized for your soap opera fixation. And that's it. Wow. I really got through all those church announcements.
That was
rather nicely. Shout out to Michael Mattis, who is on a Memorial Day vacation. Hello, Michael Mattis, if you're watching.
Get.
We salute you. What did you guys think of? Oh, also, you guys, listen, you guys have been doing this already, but make sure you tell us your thoughts. We want to hear what you have to say about this week's episodes of Days. And I forgot the most important announcement. Later on, we will be joined by the dynamic duo themselves. Miss Akitra Civilian and Jasper Newman will be joining us, hopefully. I got word that Akitra might not be feeling well. So we are crossing fingers that she's able to join us. But for sure, the man with the accent and the hairy chest.
I don't leave that part out.
Jasper Newman will be joining us.
I didn't say
it. What did you guys think of this week's episodes of Days?
Go ahead, Nurse.
I think it was a really good mix of stuff this week. Obviously, two big storylines were not revealed. Everything, I think there were no reveals this week other than just really big, just good moments, good acting. Finally, a lot of people in the same room together. That I think that was a good mix. It's like everybody involved in all these storylines was kind of like off in corners, and finally everybody got together on different occasions. So that was really good to see.
Yeah, I really love this week. I was thoroughly entertained by certain characters and storylines, which we'll get into. But yeah, I really like this week. I feel like the past couple of weeks have maybe been like kind of like info weeks or nothing too exciting, but I think they amped it up this week.
I thought this week was really good. It was very special for me because I got to watch the episodes with my mom. while I was visiting Texas for my niece's graduation. Shout out to my niece, who is now a high school graduate. So my mom and I were watching it, and it's a very different experience when you're watching it with Mama Moore. She asks a lot of
That
questions.
should have been tape, Tony. That should have been a Dishin Days exclusive.
It really should have been, because she's a typical mom who was just like, so why they? And I'm like, Mom, we're watching the same thing. I don't know yet. Like I'll give you this example, and then we'll go on. So when EJ proposed to Nicole, and it cut to commercial, my mom goes, "Well, what did she say?" And I'm like, and so then when it came back from commercial, I just looked at her and went.
See, it's a very different experience for me watching with my mom. When I was watching the week that Bo and Hope were on, my mom's exact words were, "They're still on," and I'm like, "You've missed a lot."
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Well, guess who didn't miss a lot? That was us. And now it is time for our favorite part of the show. It's time to start
Dishin
Days.
I just let y'all say it.
I think Justin and I did pretty good.
I think y'all did too. Actually, I have to give you kudos for last week, it was last week, because I was like, that is pretty close, So,
all right.
Kudos to that. All right, let's get into this first storyline that we are calling Splat.
I gotta laugh. I gotta laugh because a lot of these have exclamation points.
There's a lot of exclamation points. Yes. So the Peterson. Oh my gosh.
His last name is Bedford.
Price. The Selena Price and Bedford storyline has come to a head on a rooftop. I have to say this. I was so into this whole spiral of like how everything just unraveled so quickly. And I was actually kind of thankful that, they didn't drag this out very long. And then they just kind of cut to the chase of everything. And man, did Colin is something else. He is something else. I have to tell you. What did y'all think about this storyline this week?
There was so much going on in that storyline. It was, I feel like I was watching it and like I couldn't take my eyes off it. I was like trying to focus on. I watched it a couple different times. I was trying to focus on like different people during different times. Like look at Paulina sort of wailing and Chanel and what they were going through. Then Jada comes on with Talia, and then they're doing their thing, and then Chanel, and then Paulina gets brushed to the side, and then Chanel gets taken. It was a lot going on.
Well, my issue was, wait, did this happen? Because I was kind of finishing up last week.
Yeah.
But it bled into this. No, by this week they were already. Just to touch on last week, the whole Colin being the inspector.
Yeah,
I was like, that conversation went real long.
Yeah.
And at what point was anybody going to be suspicious about what was being said? But I mean, everything just went from 0 to 60 in 3.5. All of a sudden, they were there in sweet bits, and then next thing you know, Abe was knocked out, and everybody was up on the roof. Everybody was up on every.
Sorry, Araceli. It's so funny until you mention that, because I always think when you always say like, what are the like normal people in Salem thinking about so I thought of like, this is the health inspector who's like reading the Salem Spectator and like catching up on the gossip and being like, oh, your daughter's the so-and-so and she's, she did this to this girl. That's what I thought when you brought that up.
Well, let me tell you about regular people. Regular people would not be anywhere near arm's length of somebody. So when he had Paulina, and then he let Paulina go, and then Jada came, and then he was able to grab Chanel. Yeah. I was like, nah, Chanel. Once your mama was let go, baby, you should have ran over to the other side with your mama. What you still doing standing over here by him so to where he could go?
Well, my thinking in that moment was she was probably trying to get close to so that she could grab her mother if she got the chance to. And this is where I actually was very intrigued by the whole we'll call it choreography of those scenes on the roof, because I never knew, obviously by the preview of the week, we knew somebody went off the roof. But up until that point, I had questions of how it was going to happen and how people were going to be behaving. So like, I didn't know what Talia was going to do. We didn't know what Chanel was going to do. Like you said, like, why is she standing so close? Why my thinking was, okay, she's probably going to try to get her Paulina. I didn't know if Paulina was really having an anxiety attack, or if she was having a heart attack, or if she was faking it. I didn't know if Ilya was going to be able to get a shot up. It was like so much of like, you didn't know what was going to happen until that final moment.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to be a little indifferent about this storyline, but I don't know. I feel like this storyline had many different layers to it, and it involved so many different people in so many different ways. You know, you had two sisters. You know, as far as like Jada and Sloane. And then their siblings who, you know what I mean? So it's, I don't know. It was just very, it was interesting and entertaining to me. Now, does everything ever make sense? No.
Mm-mm.
But I mean, for the most part, you know, I think with this storyline, you had to just kind of put yourself in a position of understanding that these are two people who lost their parents and who, it's like having that deep, dark family secret. And then that kind of being the reason why your family unraveled. And one person who tried to use one tactic to get them, and that didn't work. And then the other one went to the extreme to get back at them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think when you just put yourselves in that kind of position and lose sense of a little bit of reality.
Yeah. And they made it a point. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just saying, I think you can just kind of enjoy the storyline a little bit more, you know?
Yeah. And they did make the point of Sloane of confirming the big age difference between them, and that she was already or close to an adult, if not in law school, I believe, when this happened, and that her brother was much younger. So it would he had a different effect on it than she would have.
Yeah, she was a teenager when he was a toddler. There's like a 15-year difference between them.
They are ruthless in the chat. Annie Goen says, I was disappointed in Jada. She had a clear shot at Colin before he grabbed Chanel. And then Annette Thompson just said, Jada should have shot Colin in the head and ended it right there.
Y'all, we're advocating for Jada be using her gun? Really?
I mean, listen, we saw what happens when people use their guns prematurely.
Jada's a smart cookie. You really think that she's gonna be reckless professionally, not to mention reckless personally, when her sister's up on that roof? She know what was gonna happen. This situation was not contained at all. She had no backup. Also, you really think she was gonna take any chances with no backup?
And I also think that Jada, the way Jada is as a cop, it's very much more by the book than like some other people. I don't think she really runs on emotion, which you know she definitely could have. I think she was really trying to ensure the safety of everybody.
Everyone involved.
You know,
she was in an impossible position, both as a cop and as a sister.
You know who I felt like was just boom, 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 boom during this whole thing?
Rafe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, Rafe is just kind of like, yeah, Abe, we got somebody on it, right? And I'm just like, Rafe, all this stuff is happening.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like,
I thought it was, that kind of, it surprised me too. I thought it was interesting they chose to have him sort of basically like choose to stay with Abe, which was interesting. I was like, oh, I thought like he would get Abe to the hospital, or actually, I thought he would have left Sweet Bits once the ambulance arrived. But they made it a point to show he like stood by
Stood
Abe,
beside him.
and then he like the whole thing with Theo was like weird.
I didn't mind that part only because literally like none of his kids are in town.
Yeah,
True. But wait.
He literally couldn't call Paulina and Chanel because he didn't know where the heck they were.
Yeah, that's true, but I feel like he could have joined Jada someplace, or like they could have met up someplace. It was weird keeping them separate for so long.
But I was also like, can the hospital just receive authorization on the phone like that? Hi, I'm Theo Carver, and yes, you can conduct surgery on him.
They did explain it, and actually, I think that there was so much technical stuff this week. If you notice in the hospital, they're really trying to like not make it like, you know, previous soapy hospital scenes. The way that they explained it was they got phone authorization, and then they got written authorization as well.
The form, yes,
the form that they had. So basically, the verbal consent was basically to get him prepped and ready to go, so that once he was in the operating room, it'd give him time to send in the signature.
Can you imagine though if like Theo was like, I'm sorry, my internet is not really working where I am, or I'm so sorry, I'm not near my computer, and like you have to sign important documents for your daddy to get life-threatening surgery.
That's when you call, friend Jim down the street. You're Theo. Here's the doctor.
Yeah. Well, he's also a techie, so I think that makes sense too.
Yeah, that's true. I was gonna say, you don't think he has the expensive app on his phone that lets him do the signatures?
Right. Some people. Some people. It's a what?
I was saying, to your point, Tony, of like Rafe is like the go-to between them now. Like it was just, it was interesting to have him separated from the action.
Yeah. Sorry. You know me, always doing multiple things. What was it? A lot of people in the chat room were saying like, how is Abe near death over being hit with a rolling pin? I mean, listen.
What do you mean?
You got hit in the head. That could cause many different injuries. Like, listen, I didn't watch ER or Grey's Anatomy, but I know enough to know that, like, the knee bone's connected to the hand bone.
Yes, when you bash someone's head in with a hard surface like a rolling pin, of course it could be life or death.
Do you know how many times I was told to stay awake? How many times I actually stayed awake hours longer than I should have? Because in college I slept on a bunk bed and I kept hitting my damn head on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Bless your heart.
It hurts.
It sounds like it did. Can we talk about the fall?
What in the Jennifer we're in do we
there's a couple of things. Number one, can you imagine being on the phone, hearing and turning around and realizing that your brother just fell from a roof?
Oh my God.
And then the awning, and underneath the awning was Talia. Now, the funny thing was, my mom looked at that and was like, "Now, how she get?" And so then, like, we're looking at the awning, and I was like, "Well, maybe she slid through."
I can't slip through.
Like maybe maybe she fell through the opening, and then splat. Colin landed on the awning, bounced off, splat, and when he bounced off, the awning broke.
Oh my God. I did laugh. I'm like, neither one of these two grown adults like ripped the awning or like fell through it. It actually like stayed intact and just fell. Like,
no, there was a hole.
Was it ripped? Okay, I feel like it should have been like dismantled, like like.
Well, and everyone's saying, Jen Furigal _fan says, I get that falling off a roof and barely get a scratch. Come on, listen, They had blood. They had. Did you not see Talia with all those bruises and stuff that she
Yeah,
had?
she looked beat up. Yeah.
Like they looked a mess.
Mhm.
Also, I don't think it's supposed to be. I don't think the building is that high, presumably. So it's. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's the
it's
inn.
soap
It's
opera, but
not the
it's
Empire State Building.
yeah. And they did make a bet to say like the awning sort of broke their fall, and that's why they did.
Yeah.
That's why they were more seriously hurt. But
And then poor Eric didn't know who to console. Like at one point he was with Sloane and Colin. Then he saw Talia and Jada, and then he slid on over there. I was like, poor thing.
Mhm.
And the Melinda Trask is shady. She was like, so Nicole, Jada,
yes.
and now Sloane. What, do you just go for women who? And I was just like, first of all, ma'am, that's none of your business.
Yeah.
Secondly, ma'am, please let these folks do what they need to do in order to get the proper arrest. Because we saw how you went after people just for arrest her.
Yeah.
It's like you ain't got no evidence, man. Arrest her. But man, we like, arrest her.
Oh, too funny.
Well, I'm curious to see how this kind of moves forward. I'm almost scared to ask, but I'm now curious. I'll start with one and then the other. Are we hoping that Talia stays on the canvas?
Yes. Yeah. For me.
Yes, if only because she is in serious need of some big sister tough love.
I told y'all why she went cray cray.
Yeah, I think. Well, they're gonna need to expand on that, Tony. It can't just be.
Please, yes.
Can you imagine her sitting with Marlena and having a counseling session? And that's
No, I look forward to it. It is necessary.
Like Dr. Marlena Evans Black, I was stigmatized.
No, Marlena says that that's the diagnosis.
That's what Marlena says.
Her, yes.
Talia, I'm sorry to say, the prognosis is you are stigmatized.
Okay, that is the scene of the year. Forget these Alex sessions that we keep hearing about. That's the one we want to see.
When I tell you, if there is a scene, baby, I am tuning in like this. Like, honey, how are you going to explain this? Talked about Letter Ava's black heading. How are you going to explain this? Okay, so a lot of people are saying Jada needs a family. So yes, so people are with that. Marlon Wall is saying having 4 strong black women on the show would be great. Absolutely. Dylan Matthews says, Dr. Marlena Evans, you know when that dick just hits good, you understand? Araceli, don't be trying to act all proper. Don't be trying to be all prudish.
No, I'm not prudish. No. I'm not prudish by any means. I'm just saying you can still get that good D and then move on and do your grown ass business. Get your fix. Move on to the next.
Listen, I this will age me, but I will refer to what Samore said in the Queens of Comedy. Good D will have somebody drive your car, and he don't have no license. Just saying. Okay, so now that we got Talia out the way, what about Colin? Before we say whether we want him on the canvas, I will say I actually was hoping that they did not kill Colin.
Yeah.
Because I was like, Sloane would not be able to take that, and then that's just another round 2 of revenge. I was so happy that they didn't kill Colin. But will we like to see Colin remain on the canvas?
But keep them separate.
Yes, yeah. I think there's more to both characters. There's a lot more there's some layers there that can kind of be explored. Yeah.
Do you think Colin's character is a redeemable one?
Oh, sure.
On this show,
Yeah, he's done
everyone's
nothing.
redeemable.
Yeah, he's barely scratched the surface of doing it. I mean, has he done that bad comparatively?
I mean, this is true. Okay, I mean, listen, I'm for both. I'm for both saying too. Like, I would love to see some redemption on both ends, and then just kind of see what could happen in the future. This is going to be a very interesting interview because when I tell you these folks are not feeling the Colin character.
Well, maybe that's good. You know, he's playing a villain, so you kind of don't. I mean, I guess you could love to hate him.
Was anybody feeling Xander when he first came into town, other than physically?
I don't ever remember not feeling Xander.
This is true.
Anywho, all right. Well, we'll see how that storyline pans out. And now we are moving on to the next storyline. I'm Dimitri DiMera, bitch. Or I'm Dimitri DiMera, bitch.
Yeah.
You know,
Lord,
you can have the accent or not have the accent.
Gosh, Lord, when I tell you, Chad was counting his lucky stars that he moved out of that house.
Well, speaking of Chad, when they cut to him in Greece, I said, if you don't get on that plane and get back to Salem, like, why are you still there? You got children.
Yes.
You don't need to be there no more.
Yeah. But it was worth it, though, for that scene. Like, Peter Port is just amazing. Peter Porte, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He is a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
He's just delicious.
Yeah.
Because he almost plays this smart, cunning, aloof, just in his own world kind of character.
He's having fun. That's what it is.
Yes. But I like it though. I like that he's just this like Patrick TV said, Uncle Chad sent me.
Yeah. Or no, when he first said Unc, that sent me.
It's just another fun character, and I'm all here for it. And the fact that he is the son of Megan Hathaway, formerly. I think it's this. I feel like it feels like another Vivian and Yvonne, but in a mother son kind of way.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Anyway, what else do you guys think about the storyline?
That was great. The now we have the sisters are out of jail, and he worked his magic and got both of them out. And
this is another one of those stories where I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't really necessarily have any skin in the game for or against anyone. I'm kind of just along for the ride because that house is just like, I would say the only opinion that I have on that would be, Nicole, get your child out of that house now. There's a bunch of stuff going on. I have no skin in any game, but there should be no children on the premises.
But I feel like seeing them all together, there's such a disconnect. Everyone has their own goal and agenda within this family. And I don't think that's how Stefano imagined this.
Oh, no.
Like, can you just imagine what a force the DiMera family could suddenly be in Salem?
See, that just reminded one of my favorite iterations was when it was Stefano and Kate as the parents. Then you had Lexi, EJ, and Tony was around, and Benji was even around for a little while. Then you had Nicole and Abe as the spouses, and it was like this DiMera family. And it was like, okay, this is what I want to see. Them should still show them be a family and be ruthless and be crazy. And you could, I'm with you. That was the only negative, is that it started off on, let's get Megan on our side. Let's get Kristen on our side for these shares. And it wasn't like, like, let's shake things up, or let's do something, or let's join forces, or let's put the BS aside and do something. I mean, I guess they don't really have anything to combat but each other, but that scene would have read a lot differently if it was all of them in one room.
Well, we have no way of it could still be that way because we have no way of knowing what's going to happen. We have no idea if the sisters have a side deal on their own to oust the brothers. We have no idea, if, EJ and Stefan are going to cut their losses. Because at this point, I'm just shaking my heads at the brothers because I'm like, whether or not Megan and Kristen are on your sides or not, or whatever, this is not going to end well for either one of you. I know that much. No matter how this way shakes out, you need to be afraid of your sisters. I know that much.
Yeah.
Because they've had the thing about people who have had a little time to, stew in prison is that they've got time to plot, and plotting they have been doing.
Mm-hmm. But it's going to be interesting to see if there's a plot together, or once they were out, if it's separate.
Yeah.
And who's going to go where? Where's Stefan going to go? Where's Gabby going to go? Where's EJ going to go? Where's Nicole going to go? Where's Chad going to go?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the line in the sand?
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta say, I love seeing them all together. Like, we don't get scenes like that anymore. Not really.
I also found everyone keeps talking about the time from when Dimitri made the deal
yes.
to when everybody was just released in Salem. Listen, we all know the concept of time really doesn't exist.
Yes.
In soaps, in TV, right? I mean, in one scene you could be in Salem, and in the next scene you are in Greece, and so you just have to go with it. But I tell you this: when Kristen knocked on that door and that door opened, I said,
"Yeah,
well, come on, black dress and bangs."
I know.
She looked great. Yeah,
she looked amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. How many of us are tired of the obsession Kristen has with Brady?
Something has to give there. Something has to change. It's probably not going to change on Krista's end. So Brady, I know Brady had this, again, never-ending talk with Marlene about how, she's always going to be in my life because she's the mother of my child. But something has to give on something, because they can't keep going on this back and forth merry-go-round forever. At least not where Rachel's concerned. At some point, Rachel's going to pick up a tablet and read her mother's long list of crimes. I think that should be now.
Well, I mean, at this point, if she can call an Uber all the way to Statesville and nobody question that, and if she can spill the tea in a letter, whatever happened to just simple drawings? I made this for you. She was like, "Girl, let me tell you," and Bo is alive. I'm like,
yeah.
Not this little girl spilling all the tea in this letter.
Oh, yeah. We had thoughts on that.
But I hope, this is my hope for the character of Kristen. I hope that they have her realize what a miracle it was for her to even have Rachel, number one, and become a mother to Rachel. But two, find something else to be obsessed with besides Brady. I would have rathered her knocked on that door, kind of, been a little tongue in cheek about it. But then at one point be like, "Brady, let me explain something to you. I had a lot of time to think in jail. You can do or be with whomever you want. But what you're not going to do is take my daughter away from me. This ends now. This starts now. Where is she?"
Yeah.
Focus on that.
Yeah, but I feel like Kristen doesn't get over her obsessions well. I mean, her obsession with John and Marlena was like a 15-year one, and we're in like middle of that with Brady as well. So it's kind of like takes
But
like almost 2 decades for her to get over her obsessions.
But here's the difference: is I feel like with Kristen and John, they actually had a relationship, and John had love for Kristen, right?
Mhm.
But the love between Marlena and John was too powerful. And I think that's something that you could be upset over. That somebody is basically in the way of your happiness. So that whole feud, I get 100%.
Yeah.
Like, you took my happy away from me.
Yeah.
I'm evil because of you. I'm scheming because of you. I am not blood DiMera, but adoption DiMera, and I'm adopting the DiMera ways.
Mhm.
I get that. But at this point now with Brady, I'm like, child, can we just move on?
In her own irrational way, somebody keeping your child away from you is pretty upsetting, even if it is your own fault.
Yes, but that's the thing you need to be
Yeah.
obsessed with,
Mm-hmm.
not wanting him back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Speaking of happy couples, are we team Andrew and Paul?
Yes.
Yeah.
Forever.
I wish we'd have them on the show and we could actually see their relationship. But yeah.
I had a moment where when they showed Paul's apartment, I told my mom, I was like, I was over there in that corner. I was over there. The whole situation with Andrew and being kidnapped. First of all, I appreciated when the guy was like, "Do you remember how you got here?" And then they did the whole flashback, and I was like, "Oh wow, they really duped you, girl.
Yeah.
They really got you." But let me tell you, when that man with the bald head came in, I was looking at him like, honey, I can stay kidnapped, okay? I can stay.
I volunteer as tribute to stay.
Ay. Telling you gotta stay focused.
Oh, you want me to eat this sandwich?
Tony, you gotta feed me. I can't.
I said, well, baby, if the kidnappers look like this, when I think of home, I think of this place. Don't y'all try to act like when that man walked in with that boy head and that sandwich, y'all wasn't looking like, honey, keep me.
Oh, I noticed. Yes.
See,
The other one was cute too.
I mean, they're cute, but truly, I don't pay attention till a man starts talking, and then I go one of two ways.
Well, I didn't know what he said. All I was hearing was, I can hear the bells.
Oh, he would have went both ways, all right.
I am just saying, but yes, he was another one, Click, and he was in San Francisco hugging Paul. So
now that entrance actually did make geographical sense because it was stated that Andrew rushed home to the United States to get to Paul. So that was actually explained that he was in the area being held.
Yeah. Annie Goen is on one today. She said people complain about Chad not being trained to help rescue Kate, but Andrew managed to get himself kidnapped and held hostage.
No.
Shade. Y'all shady today. Y'all is real shady today. And then let's see. Harris had an interesting proposition. Was that this week?
Yes, this was and actually that I appreciated because I was really tired of seeing Harris just get beat up and it did seem like he needed some purpose. Obviously, I want Steve Burton to stick around. So this is a good this is a good way for him. I think we're done with the redemption storyline. He may think he needs it. I don't think he does it, but I do think he needs purpose.
Yeah.
Post, obviously, the Seals are probably not going to take him back at this point. He needs purpose. And if he feels like keeping an eye on Megan, going back to his roots, which is a real thing, it's a valid point, will, give him a new sense of a direction. I'm all for it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want him to be on Team Dimitri. I want him to maybe join Black Patch or something.
I was going to say that. Yep.
But he's another one that I wouldn't mind seeing, keeping on the canvas.
Yeah.
But when he asked to see Hope, I said, "Child, she gone."
I know. I thought that was a little slick, and Sean was like, "No." He was like, "You got something said you could relay that information to me. That's not something you need a face-to-face to tell her. You could easily tell me. You could tell anyone to get that information to them." Like, I was like, "Okay, Harris, you're trying to be a little slick there, but okay."
Oh, Patrick TV said Harris and Kristen could be interesting now that I think about it.
Oh, good God. No.
Okay. I mean, listen, they need additional men.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because everybody can't keep dating the same folks, okay?
Yeah, this is true.
Honey, that bald-headed man who was kidnapping, come on to Salem too, Eddie. That could be Terrence's entrance. Terrence walk in, "Hey y'all, this is my new boo." And it's the kidnapper.
I will bring this up. Because I know, because I could literally, I didn't even text Michael Mattis about this, but it was like I could feel his energy watching the scene where Megan comes into the pub and mistakes Roman for Chris. I was like, and what does Michael Mattis
when she kept calling Roman Chris because he used to play Chris?
Oh, yes.
Well, with that said, that was a little cringe because it went on a little further than I thought it should be.
Yeah.
I feel like it could have just been Chris. Sorry, but she was like, I have a need to keep calling you Chris. And I was like, okay. But I did like the fish market reference because that's when she was around. It wasn't the pub then. It was
that's how long she's been gone.
Yeah.
Can I also just say, the energy that I get from Kate is that she is over it.
Yep.
Over it. She is tired of the stunt shows and shenanigans.
She really is. She's just like, I've gone through too much. And that's why, I was like, when Roman was like, "Well, do you want to go around town?" I was like, I know, I want to sit and have a good meal with my husband.
Right.
I have to say this. We talked about last week, like what's Kate's sort of direction now and where are we going to find her and see her in the future? I love the Roman stuff. Always love it. Please keep them together, whatever you do. But there was a part of me that was wishing it would be interesting if Kate was still part of this DiMera mix over here. And she's not that far removed from it, and she hasn't been in the past. It hasn't been that long since she was with the DiMeras, except for when EJ got pissed at her and sort of kicked her out.
Well, Kate will get back to being Kate. She just needs, like Tony said, she's over it. She's like, I've been through too much. I need a break. I need a break from all of you, all the drama. I have earned my break. But when the time comes, she'll find the right. But I think it'll be different this time in terms of she deserves to be in charge. In other words, whatever her next move is, she deserves to have full autonomy over it. No more drama, no more capitulating to other people, to younger people. Like, no, Kate doesn't deserve that. She has earned the right to full autonomy over her personal and professional life.
Yes. And then before we close this out, congratulations to Gabby and Stefan. I would say congratulations to Nicole and EJ, but Nicole was like, no. I'm like, you can't just keep doing stuff just because Stefan did it.
No. I mean, it was nice to see EJ actually admit that he loves her. Like, the actually look of shock on his face was like, oh, no, I actually do love you. I was like, that was kind of funny to see, but okay, I guess. But we'll see how that goes. It's kind of, with everything going on here, literally everything surrounding the house is now like we're gonna just have to wait and hold on tight to see how all this goes.
Yeah. Well, speaking of how things go, who's pregnant? So we have Nicole and Sloane and EJ and Eric and Kayla and Tony and Anna. Here's the thing. I kind of like that this has brought a new interesting twist to the Nicole Sloane relationship, where they loathe each other. They now kind of need each other.
Yeah, there's a common interest. Yeah.
And I find that very interesting. Note to everyone that lives in Salem, please stop having these conversations out loud and in the open.
Or Sloane as she comes in like she's on a megaphone.
I'm like, girl, like, and then just stand in the hospital lobby with the not in the bathroom or anything like that. Just out here, girl, take this swab so you can get Eric and I'm gonna get Eve. What's going on here? It's like what did y'all think? What y'all being all out in the open?
Oh, I love it.
I mean, it's nice that people want to help Nicole, if only for their own selfish purposes. No one's against Nicole, at this point, I think. But it's just, it's another one of those, we're not gonna know until we know.
I really hope the baby is EJ's.
Ditto.
I really do.
Yeah.
Because here's my thing, y'all fans. I know you want Eric and Nicole. I know you do. But here's the thing. I just feel like the Eric and Nicole train is no longer running. They have pulled into the station. All passengers are off. And I think for me, for the first, because I was team Eric and Nicole, but I just think like sometimes some couples don't have to make it. It doesn't always have to be the end game. And there's something more interesting about Nicole and EJ. Yep. And there's something more interesting about Eric and Sloane. Now, 2 years from now, I could think something different. However, right now, every time she's worried, I'm just like, Lord, please let it be EJ's. Just please let it be EJ's.
And I'll add to that we said last week that there's an argument to be made that EJ and Nicole have more history than she does with Eric. They have way more history. And the two children that she previously lost, those were EJ's children. Yep. So there's an argument to be made that them together deserve a redemption for the two children that they lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just,
yeah.
Honey, I feel like Nicole. I feel like this is my pregnancy test. I'm nervous.
I was also like, can they not do, I was like, can you just steal a toothbrush? Did I miss something? I was like,
child, them the olden days of
them
the olden days of soaps where they steal toothbrushes and cups and stuff like that.
Hair from a brush or something.
They gotta get swabs, honey. They got get up in that. Gotta get swabs, honey.
Anyways,
and poor Anna, the task of trying to keep that secret. And then let me tell you, that is a prime example of did not think this lie all the way through.
No.
Because that surprise, I'm pregnant. I said, Anna.
Yeah.
No.
And even Tony was like,
right. Until she started mentioning Dr. Rolf, and it was like, you know what? Not so far-fetched, actually. Yeah. Not so far-fetched.
True.
Until Tony started mentioning all the stuff she couldn't do anymore. She said, no, wait a minute. I ain't about to carry this life for 9 months.
Yeah. I was so Anna in that moment. I was like, you can't have this, you can't have this, you can't have this. And I'm like, yep.
No. I did not think that's where I honestly thought she was going to say Carrie, honestly, or I thought maybe she'd say Gabby as like a last effort to.
Well, like Nicole, honey, we just sitting around waiting for these test results.
Yep.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. We are at the point where we're about to go into our tidbits, but before we do, just some quick reminders, everybody. Number one, follow us on all social media platforms. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And hey, check us out on your favorite podcast stations. And don't forget to buy our merch. And head on over to JLJ Media on the YouTubes. Go show some love to my chocolate twin, James Lott Jr. And in a few moments, we will be joined by Jasper Newman. I did receive word that Akitra is still feeling sick.
Oh.
So we want to send love to her and hope that she feels better and hope that she can come dish with us some other time. But in just a few moments, Jasper Newman is going to join us to talk about portraying Colin Bedford, honey. This is going to be an interesting conversation. It is. Let's get into some tidbits. All right, so we have our first tidbit of Mommy Dearest. We are talking about Kristen, Brady, and Marlena.
We kind of already touched on this.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
A lot
Kristen
of
does
it.
what she always does. She gets out of prison. She immediately goes to harass Brady and Marlena. They kick her out. Wash, rinse, repeat.
Mhm.
And on that note,
Yeah.
Araceli has reached her limit with that storyline.
I
And
have.
I mean, we talked about it earlier, but
Yeah.
it's like just figure out times where y'all can be a parent to Rachel, and let's just move on. And yes, we can accept that Rachel's going to grow up to be a little Kristen, and that's fine.
Mhm.
Oh, boy.
That's fine. She's already started, honey. At 9 years old, she can write a letter spilling the tea, and sometimes she probably could have took the letter herself. I don't know about y'all, but the only thing I was doing around 9 years old was riding my Tony the Tiger bicycle.
Too much.
I wasn't writing
You
letters.
get-
Well, I was
Look.
writing letters, but I wasn't spilling the tea in letters.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta beat that out of the kids young. That's the only comment I have, is that the minute you start to see the terror come out, you're like, nope. Because terrible children become terrible adults unless you intervene.
You know what I just thought about?
Right.
Because I saw people were saying that, like, oh, it's time for Marlena to install a peephole, and then someone said something about a ring camera. And I thought to myself, companies should advertise within shows. Like, can
They
you imagine?
did do that.
They
No.
used to-
No. I'm not talking about the way they did it,
Oh.
where all of a sudden it's like
Yeah.
Sammy's like,
Cereal or whatever it was.
my
Yeah.
gosh, I got cramps. My dog.
Exactly.
And it's like, no, we're not talking about commercials. We're just talking
Why
about
do
like
I remember that? Ugh.
just showing like Marlena's apartment with like a ring camera, and then like ding dong, who is it? Brady, check the ring camera.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Or let me answer my T-Mobile phone. Hello?
Let me answer my T-Mobile again. Not T-Mobile.
I'm just saying. But no, not like they used to. Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry.
Yeah, right. Sammy.
Need a pick me up? Try Honey
Or they
Nut
come to the
Cheerios.
door with the product in their hand illogically, like.
Oh my god.
That was a really rough couple of years.
Oh boy. All
Listen,
right.
days need to do what days need to do back then to get that money. Okay.
Honey, do what it do. Listen, if there's anyone that wants us to use products, let us know. We are willing. Okay, we will use your microphones. We will use your ring lights. We will use
yes.
we will drink mugs. We will drink your tea. We will eat your snack. Just let us know. We not above product placement here on Dishin Days. All right, let's head on over to Shin or Get Off the Pot. We got Gabby, Johnny, Lee, and Wendy. I really don't want I don't want Lee Shin to go.
No. He has a lot more to do, especially now with all the chaos that's going on at over at the DiMera house. No, I predict he has plenty more to do now. It's just now that, Gabby is out of his system. And I do finally think she's out of his system.
Yeah,
Thank
I agree.
God. It did feel like, okay, now he can focus more on work. Now he can focus more on his sister. Let's get the Shins more brother sister scenes. That was nice to see.
Yeah, I love Lee. I like him. Keep him around. There's more to do with that character. I think they hit sort of a wall with the Gabby thing, and it was like, okay, let's end this peacefully and show us the audience that his character is over this and he's sort of ready for something else. Now his sister, I'm so over the storyline. It's not interesting anymore. It was interesting when it was about a young woman deciding maybe between two different guys and dating and everything, but they're like, it's way too believable now to where both of these guys are now like signing up for this competition. It's far extended where it would logically be. It's one thing to say, and this is where I think they messed up. She's not saying, I'm trying to date both of you to see she's saying, I want to date both of you to see who I want. But this has been going on for a while. I would understand it more if she was saying, I don't want a boyfriend. I just want to date, period. That would make more sense to me. But now it's like, now you're getting to the point where you're just like cruelly, I feel, leading these guys on now, even if they're standing up for it.
Well, I think it makes sense either way on her part. The issue is it does not make sense for Tripp and Johnny because they've been here before. She has not. She is new to the dating game. She can play the game however she wants to. But they've been through this before a few times. And so it doesn't make sense for them.
I just think that it would also make more sense if she didn't have to go to Seattle for her first date. I also just think that at this point, you should kind of know who you're gravitating towards.
Exactly.
And I honestly think it's Tripp. I think Johnny is being a little too like, well, why is she still doing that? It's like, girl, because she don't like you like that.
Yep.
I think she's over it.
Yep.
Yep. How about, well, not Tripp and Talia, but how about Tripp and Talia and Johnny?
I still like Johnny and Chanel. I feel like that chemistry is still there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they got that taken away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's at this point they're such good friends. I can take them either way, but there's an argument to be made that your best friend can be your best partner.
Yeah. Well, we'll see on that. And last but not least, two's company too. Xander and Chloe's living arrangement. You would think with all that muscle and body that you would know how to hang up a simple photo. But I love the fact that they show Chloe being like, ugh, hand it to me here. Oh, you want me to clean too? Like, Chloe's like, listen, I got this, but I shouldn't have to. But are we team Xander and Chloe?
No, as a friends.
For me, I can go either way. I could see something romantic happening, or if they just made them friends as a way to. I feel like Xander benefits more than Chloe, but I'm fine with either one.
Not everybody needs to sleep with everybody. I am 100% on board with Xander having a friend. He don't have any friends. He needs a friend.
Yeah, sure. Everyone's voting for friends, but I mean, I'll let them have one little slip up. And then just go back to being friends.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind.
And then maybe give it a couple of years and then see where we are. Okay. But I feel like it's definitely a different vibe, a different interaction, a different like one that we didn't see coming. But I like it. I like their dynamic with each other.
Like, all of my dirty laundry. I know all of your dirty laundry. Nobody's throwing stones here. They're just two people starting over.
Yeah. And it's just like, you know what? Life has kind of hit us, but you know what? We're gonna make it. Yeah, that's all. All right. Well, everybody, that was your week of days. And now it's time for our favorite part of the show, which are our segments. And we're going to start with mine with Tony's official 3 Snaps Award.
Oh, snap!
All right. Now, listen. There comes a time in life where you just ain't got time to deal with the foolishness, and you ain't got time for anybody else except what you need to do. And there was one person who showed just that.
Detective Hunter, I need you to explain why Sloane Peterson was a... So,
Baby, when I tell you Jada Hunter had no time, she did not pay attention. She didn't bat an eyelash. She grabbed them keys and sassy walked right on out of there. So Miss Elia Cantu, Miss Jada Hunter gets Tony's official 3 Snaps Award for not giving 2 shits about what Melinda Trask had to do. She had things to do and did not have no time for nothing. You sissy that walk all right on out that police station.
Oh, snap!
All right, we do not have captioned that today because Michael Mattis is out. But what we do have is our favorite.
Those were the days.
All right. Take you back to May 24th, 1982, when Marlene's character was killed by the Salem Strangler. That's not the actual Those Are the Days. It is the fan outrage that erupted from that storyline. And of course, we know now it was Samantha, her twin sister, who was killed. But at the time, of course, audience didn't know that. They went into a frenzy. They started picketing the studio because their beloved Dr. Marlena Evans was killed. And we always talk about how, like, oh, if they had Twitter back then, or if they had social media back then, well, they mobilized without social media and people protested. They called NBC endlessly. Much so that the producers said in this picture, that's what this picture's from. They sent Deidre Hall out there to calm the crowd down because they didn't want any danger or anyone to get hurt. So this is Deidre Hall sort of going out there talking to the crowd. She didn't reveal the storyline about not being killed, which is funny because you would think people would wonder why she's still at the studio if her character was killed off, but that's another thing. But in their frenzy, they were just happy that Deidre Hall was there. She went out, she took pictures, she signed autographs, she took some flowers, and she sort of quelled the outrage in the fan response. She also was on the switchboard taking calls because they were inundated with people calling just to cuss the producers and the writers out for how dare they kill Dr. Marlena Evans and get rid of Deidre Hall. So yeah, I saw it was like, I have to include this. This is one for the books. But yeah, May 24th, 1982, where we had a Twitter level response to Dr. Marlena Evans being killed off the show.
Bet they wish they had the block button back then.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Those were the days.
and now it's time for It's a Gift.
And this week's It's a Gift goes to the lovely Anna DiMera and her poor planning skills when it comes to telling a lie. And her reaction is my reaction to someone ever telling me I could not have a drink.
Or that you should get more than one social media.
Oh, no. I just kind of politely giggle at that. But, oh, if you try to take my alcohol after a 12-hour work day, 5-day work week, we're going to have words.
And those words are, It's a Gift. And now it's time for News and Gossip.
Yes, keeping on with the tradition of really great guest stars we've had this past year. The lovely, funny, incredibly hilarious Kim Coles is joining the cast of Days of Our Lives. It's been advertised and released. She is coming on this coming week as a nurse that has some interesting interactions with Paulina Jackie Harry's character. So, I mean, everyone knows Kim Cole's Living Single.
Sinclair
in Living
James.
Color. Yes, in Living Color back in the day, first season. Bunch of other shows, but yes, I can't wait to see her on this. She's such a sweet person and incredibly funny, and I can't wait to see her and Jackie together in their scene. So hopefully this isn't just a one-off or a quick bit. Hopefully this is something that maybe turns into something a little bit more permanent. So we'll see. But yeah, check out Kim Cole's, I believe, this week on Days.
All right, next up, we have a little bit of an update for you. This coming week, was supposed to be the DePaiva's wedding anniversary. Cassie and James, Cassie as Cassie DePaiva, previously on One Life to Live, played Eve on Days, celebrating her 27th wedding anniversary with her husband, James. Unfortunately, their appearance on The Locker Room with Alan Locker this Wednesday, May 31st, is going to be postponed. So tune into The Locker Room to subscribe and see updates for when that will be coming.
Yes, next up we have our Days celeb events that we have coming up. The first one we have is the Eric Martzoff Rick Springfield one in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, October 5th through 9th this year. All tickets information, rickspringfieldgetaway.com. Next one we have is the Starstruck Oktoberfest, which is Michael Madison's favorite. That one is taking place in Orlando, Florida, later this year, October 21st through 22nd. All information, go to starstruckfanevents.com. Next up, we have the Party in Vegas one, which we always talk about. Tickets and information, you can go to Stacey Hyduke and Brian DeTillo's Instagram pages for information on that one. Last but not least, we have the Samantha and Friends one. There was one that just went by a couple weeks ago. I'm sure you've seen pictures or heard about it. It was a great time. The next one is The Invasion of the Minions, Saturday, September 9th and Sunday, September 10th of this year. You can see it's Mike Manning, Eric Martzoff, Jordi Villasuso, Carson Boatman, and Dan Furigal. So yeah, go check those out. And Samantha and Friends, there's this SamanthaFriends.org for tickets and information. So yeah, a lot of good events coming up this year.
So y'all make sure y'all go and check out all of those events. They're all really fun. And listen, if an event is within driving distance, don't ask them to bring the event to your town specifically. Just drive to the event. Trust me, it's going to be a lot of fun. Jen Furigal _fan says that a lot more actors have been added to the Samantha Friends for that one in September.
Nice.
Okay.
So we will have an update for you next time on that. But now, as we wait for our special guest, let us take a look at what is happening next week on your favorite #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Peacock exclusive, Days of Our Lives.
Sarah, there's no luggage big enough to hide the fact that you're knocked up, sweetie. It's Xander's baby, isn't it?
I want to know what you and Nicole are up to, and you're going to tell me right now.
Nicole's pregnant.
Is it my baby you're carrying?
I have your test results.
Days of Our Lives, streaming now on Peacock.
Y'all, I am sweating bullets.
That was a lot.
I am sweating bullets on these test results. I am sweating bullets over this test results. There's a lot of baby action happening next week. And where did Sarah end up being pregnant?
She was pregnant before she left.
That's why she left.
That's why she left.
That's why she left.
Tony, for Xander's baby, he wanted to get away. Because remember, she had just signed the divorce papers and then,
Yeah.
And Rex offered her a job in Chicago, and she was like, I need to get away to figure out what I'm doing about this baby. And Tony's.
I literally just feel like I blinked and Sarah was gone.
Yeah. Basically.
It's been a fast couple of months.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You know, we have been kind of prioritizing other subjects, so.
I mean, this is true. One thing that we forgot to mention is the Dishin Days Awards.
Yes.
Tonight is the last day for you to vote for the Dishin Days Awards. I have posted it everywhere, so feel free to click on the link and vote for your favorite as many times as you like. Some of y'all have really gone the distance, and we are thankful for that. We have a ton of votes in, and on top of that, a lot of them are very close. So if you want to make sure your favorite wins, you make sure you go to our social media, click the link, and vote for your favorite, because tonight at 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, voting is closed. So make sure you do that. All right. Oh, but I feel like there was something else I was going to say about the promo. Because
Chloe, Sarah, Nicole.
I think it's just Nicole. I like when Kayla was like, "We have your test results," and it cut to Nicole. I just almost felt like,
please let it be EJ's.
I really hope. I really hope it's EJ's. I really do.
If it's not EJ's, Tony is never going to stop doing his Lamaze breathing.
It's either that or the devil voice for Araceli.
And for future reference, it's.
Well, how would I know? I don't ever plan on having a baby.
Neither do I, but I still know it. You gotta just. It's the same thing. Just like. Let it out, people. Let it out.
All right. I see that our guest has arrived, but I'm allowing him some time to get himself situated. As I feel like he's trying to find a nice, good, fun spot to be in. So I'm
checking out this show. Like, what did I get myself into? Why?
Well, I have seen him pop on, and then it's like, oh, I think this spot, and then it's like, nope, not this spot, and then it's like, wait, I'm going to go to this spot. So I've just been traveling around with him until I feel like he's in a good spot, and then I will bring him in. Okay, I think he is just about okay. There he is. He gave me the thumbs up. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the newest resident of Salem who has caused quite a stir, or a biscuit, or a splat, if you will.
Basket, a grinning yellow basket.
He is, you guys know him as Colin Bedford. Please help me welcome Mr. Jasper Newman. Hello, sir.
Hey guys.
How's it going?
I'm great. I'm doing really well, thank you. How is everyone?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, of course. I'm sorry for the background. I tried to just go in a room now, but I'm at a skydiving place, and there's nowhere quiet to do anything.
Wait, did you go skydiving?
Yeah, I just jumped out of a plane without anyone attached to me. It was my second jump, and I'm over the moon. I love it.
Oh my God.
I mean, hands down, you received the award for being like, gotta jump out of a plane real quick, and then I gotta hop into an interview. So see you guys on the ground.
Yeah. When I was on the parachute, I was like, "Oh, I've got to get down quickly. I've got to get to the interview. I'm coming on." Fly down.
Wow.
Thank God you landed safely. Can you imagine?
I would have been hobbling into the shot. Like, I'm good, guys. Don't worry.
And you know what? We would have just said, now that is some method acting right there. I mean, is he planning for another fall off of a roof?
Yeah, still got all the injuries from it.
Well, Jasper, real quick, have you ever auditioned for Days before? We always love to find out if like someone who has just joined the show ever auditioned before. Was this your first time and you got this role, or had you ever been seen for any other roles before this one?
Yeah, I had gone in over the years to see Marnie. I think I'd been in twice or three times, maybe three times. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was, and both times, or all the times, I was just obviously chatting with Marnie and getting to know everyone. And one of the times it went through to a screen test, and then obviously that one didn't work out. But then they let me know that they were pleased with what I had brought to the table, and we were gonna keep, possibly working together and work on finding something that might be right.
Now, do you remember or know the role that you had the screen test for and missed out on? Do you know what that one was?
Yes, I do. It was. Am I allowed to say that? I'm allowed to say that, right? Yeah, because we threw it out there. Yeah. It was Carson Bowman's role with Johnny. So Carson and I had we'd seen each other in a lot of different audition rooms, not just for Days, but we'd seen each other there. So we kind of were friendly enough already, and it was like friendly competition of who's going to get it and who's not.
Yeah.
But it was good. He got it, and he's great. He's great on the show.
Yeah.
But I could see it, and I could see why it was close.
Yeah.
I could see it.
You do favor Dana, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Johnny is EJ.
I could see, there's a little bit like you. I feel like you and Dan would have played off really well.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, just testing for that role was fun, and he had there's a lot of layers and levels to Johnny as well, and then to Carson's role. I think this one just landed really well for me, and it was it gave me a lot of room to play.
Yeah, well, and play you did. There was a lot of room to play. How did you feel about the role of Colin, and how much did you know about where they were thinking about taking the character?
I knew some of his storyline, and I'd had a chat about it before, and I knew he was going to come in and cause some trouble, and have quite an explosive entrance into the show, which I thought was great. But I needed to know, I guess, where his head was at before I was fully comfortable with everything, that it wasn't, too wild or for weird reasons. And seeing the story develop, I think a lot of it has to, when you're looking at the role, it has to connect back to the humanity. Why is he doing this? What's gone wrong with him before that has led him to this point and made him carry out these insane actions. And I think that was the part that was interesting to me most, was how much backstory can I get? And that was when I started to go, okay, cool, I get this, and I can go in with this role and make it work.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, but did you? There was so much going on, especially this week. We learned different things that that Colin had been doing. Did you? And we had debated on this. Do you think that, or do you know if this week's events were his ultimate end game, or did he just kind of fly off the rails? Because I feel like he is more. He's more impetuous than his sister.
I think that he kind of ended up having to change what his plan was and roll with the punches, because just like with anything in life that we all know, that even going through these last few years, all of us, nothing goes to plan. So you can lay out, all right, this is where I want to go. This is what I think is going to happen. I'm going to set my intentions on it happening, but things start changing. And if things slip away when you feel so close to something you've worked for such a long time, sometimes a lot of people, like Colin did, can kind of lose it and just go, right, well, I need to make anything happen now. So they kind of forget that they've been planning and making it work and putting in all of this work to have the plan come to fruition, and just forget about themselves and just focus on the outcome of what they want the people to feel, which is what Colin did here. And that's why I think he was a little reckless. And just went off the rails a little bit with it.
A little bit.
A little. It was like all of a sudden there was definitely a plan in motion, and all of a sudden it was like, meh, screw this. We're just gonna as whatever comes my way, like we're just gonna roll with it.
He took any opportunity he could to just cause some damage to everyone who he wanted to cause some damage to.
Exactly.
I think there was even parts of it that he wasn't wanting to go that far, but when it comes time and the emotions are high, he's acting on his impulse at that point, and the anger comes through, and then he's like just pure. The red mist comes down.
Yeah, and I think we saw that during when you were the health inspector, and the line of questioning that we were all like, this health inspector is real nosy. And you kind of sense like the unraveling then of just like, like, oh, these people really think that, they didn't do anything. And like, here I am with like my family completely destroyed by these people. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, here's a rolling pin. And here we go.
Yeah. Things started to slip away, and he's like, I'm going to just roll it out. I'm going to roll it out.
Exactly.
Jasper, can you tell us about shooting that rooftop scene? I mean, we talked about it early in the show, how crazy it was, how high intensity it was. There were so many different people and perspectives. What was it like for you, even just from an acting standpoint, shooting that scene and keeping that intensity up for however long you guys shot it?
It's always a challenge. Especially with any scene that's got that kind of high level of emotions and everyone running at the same time. There's a lot, oftentimes on set with any actor, we've all got, like, obviously I think there ended up being 4 of us on the roof, and everyone's got their own process of staying in the moment or in their headspace for what they need to bring to their character. So there's everyone's got a lot of energy, like a big energy, and they take up space in the room, which is great. And when you bring that all in there, it's clashing. Everything's like, you're flying already, even when you're not shooting or rolling. I was kind of wandering off and I'm pacing around, and I already look like a madman because I'm in that headspace, and I can't talk to people. I can't, like, there's little bits of makeup and that. And sometimes when I do the makeup, normally I can have a laugh and like chat with people and like be friendly and whatnot. But this is just pure, the blinkers are on, and I know where I'm going. But it is very tiring. It's quite taxing on the body. You feel very drained afterwards, especially with the anger coming out. But I personally enjoy it because you can play off the other actors and where they're at. And if they rise to where you are, then you've got to go one above, because especially for Colin, like, he can't have someone beat him there. Now, like, we're competing. So now it's like, who's one up in the other person? And he's also got the power. He obviously had a gun on the roof. Yeah. So it's like, where's that come into play? Where can okay, you're going to get over me. I'm going to put you down. Like, don't get in my face. I'm taking you down. Yeah. I think it was very exciting to have all of the actors who are great at what they do come up and play with that. Yeah. And in a safe way as well. Everyone's there kind of making sure that everyone feels comfortable, but also letting you fly with it and just go away. And even with the coordination of like holding each other or wrestling with everything, you have to get comfortable with that, and you have to make each other feel safe enough to do it where you're not going to hurt each other, and you can still perform, because you don't want to hinder anyone else's performances.
Yes. Exactly. Though I don't imagine anyone feels 100% comfortable being the person to hold Jackie Harry hostage.
Yeah. And I was very careful.
many of our fans who are watching right now, that was the very question that they had for you was, what was it like, working with, such a iconic, legendary, actress such as Jackie Harry, and having to take her hostage and having to point a gun at her. How was that for you?
Firstly, I don't feel massively comfortable with guns in general.
Yeah.
That's not something that's like in my background. So it's making sure I triple checked everything over and over and over again with like,
Absolutely.
made sure Jackie was there, and like he's the arms dealer with what the arms control was showing it to them, and making sure that all the checks are done, and then feeling comfortable with it and not, pointing it directly at anyone. So pointing a little to the side, even though it's not got anything in it and it is safe, it's still the thought of that and the subconscious feeling of having someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did he freeze?
Yeah.
A little bit.
He froze a little bit.
It's okay.
It's
But
all right.
yes, we know.
It's gonna pop back any second. But to his point though, it is very uncomfortable to like, especially with things that have happened. But to like, have like, a weapon, any sort of weapon like pointed, I kudos to him for.
Yeah, that's responsible. That's responsible acting. That's really just taking care to make sure that you're doing your job well and you're doing your job safely. It's not up to one person. It's up everybody who's involved in the making of that scene in front of the camera and behind the camera.
Yeah. He's probably going to have to reconnect with us. Someone did say that they did notice that Jasper pointing the gun elsewhere, like during the scene. So he never really pointed it at like Jackie, but it was always like elsewhere.
We're never going to criticize that aspect of soap acting because we have learned the hard way in this industry. That's not something you do. It's actually a pretty steadfast rule no matter what level you're working at. You do not point a gun, plastic, prop, whatever, directly at someone.
Yeah. Okay, he's popped back in. Let's see. Let's make sure he's good and not frozen. There you are.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. You froze right at the moment that you were pointing the gun, and then we were all like, "Wait, did he freeze? Is this acting?"
Dramatic effect? Yeah.
Right.
Right. Exactly what I said I wouldn't want to do.
But a lot of people did notice that during that scene you were pointing the gun like elsewhere and not actually at Jackie, and so. And a lot of people are giving you kudos for that, and they're saying that you've done a great job and everything like that. So, yeah, well, good job.
Thank you. That's very nice, and it was amazing working with Jackie as well. She's just an absolute. She's incredible at what she does, and she's just got her process to get into it, and being able to work with her and work both of the processes in was amazing as well.
Yeah,
she brings a lot of like emotional weight to the scenes that she's in, and she just goes through it. It's incredible working with her.
Yeah. One person that is watching right now, you may actually know because she worked with you on your very first day at Days. She played Connie, the lovely, nervous client of Sloane, as you were lurking around the bar there. And she was like, we interviewed her a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, "Oh my God, I was there on this first day," and I was like, "Oh."
She was brilliant. She was lovely as well. It was great working with her. We had fun doing that scene.
Oh, awesome! Now, Jasper, I did notice that like you have studied acting, a lot, like throughout the years, and even before your move to Los Angeles. When you got this role of Colin and just saw the type of person that he is, obviously he's not like you, Jasper, but what did you do to, or who did you use to like create this character? How did you like get into the mind frame of Colin?
So again, for me, I don't like to base roles off of like or relate them to anyone. Because I think that then you end up going into the realm of, or maybe I'm just copying that, unless it's a specific person that it's about them, then you end up falling into their mannerisms, and maybe just kind of going into a flow and forgetting to add the emotional weight of it yourself. I get in, whenever I get a role, I'll try and get as many of the scripts, like for this, there was many scripts that were coming out as I'm there. And I didn't have all of the storyline. So I try and get as much of the information that is written down on page and in the story as possible, and then agree upon like a backstory or any small details that might already be there from the show previously. For instance, with Sloane and our parents and what's happened to our parents. And I get to, from there, go back as far as I can and build the story and build the character for myself. And it's, never really comes across that anyone might read it. But for me, I almost have to be the writer of my own story to create who this person is and figure out where their center is. Like for Colin, he's kind of plowing through things, and he's using his head, but he's angry as well. So he's like just bulldozing through. So there's an energy center of like in the forehead, because to me that feels like he's going. But then when he changes into his charming, sweet, lovely personality, it comes back and he's more relaxed, and he might be leading from his heart, and he's more open to everything, because he wants to show love and he wants to bring people into his circle. So it was a process of building that story and reading into all of the subtext and what's beneath the lines of what there is. I look like a madman on my script. I write every line that I have. I write something else next to it because it means something else to me. So I need to understand what it is and what it means to me.
That's important.
That is.
Yeah. Jasper, how did you and Akitra sort of approach the Colin Talia relationship? Because we've been talking about it for weeks, and sometimes it comes across like there's some love there, and it's either manipulation or like kind of Svengali / Stockholm syndrome. So how did you two sort of approach it together, or have you done much talking about it?
Sorry, the line broke. You said how is that the accents of it a little bit, or
no? How do you and Akitra approach the Colin Talia relationship? And how it comes across sometimes as sort of manipulative, or was there love at some point and it's turned into something else, or?
I don't know why oh my God. I'm so sorry. My phone is it's like an alien. I'm getting really high pitched noise. I'm really sorry.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Can you hear us now?
Yeah. Look, let me close the thing down, and I'll be 2 seconds and make it
okay.
So
you're totally fine. No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. To be fair, we have never had someone jump out of a plane to join us for an interview.
This is very true, and he's doing great. I mean, I think everyone can say what they want about the Colin character, but I think that Jasper has done like an amazing job with just like bringing this character to life, and just like what he's been able to do with Colin has been like really good. And he's back. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear now.
Okay.
It was high pitched alien noises that were coming. They were getting intersection. I'm so sorry.
They're mad because you jumped through their force field, so they're like, we got to come down and get
now they're
them.
watching me.
They're watching you.
We know what you want.
All right, for a third time, Justin.
I was saying, how do you and Akitra approach the Colin Talia relationship? Because it come across, we've debated, is it like Svengali / Stockholm syndrome? Is it just pure manipulation? Is it there was love there and now it's morphed into something else? Like, how did both of you sort of come together and tackle that?
I'll tell you now, Jasper, there has been many thoughts about this, and I've shared mine, but you go and then we'll tell you what we said.
I love it. I'm excited to hear you guys' versions of it. I think, again, with this side of it, with human relationships, it really has to go back to like, where was the connection? What's the humanity here? And I don't think anyone is able to get into that kind of relationship without genuinely having love at some point in the relationship. So at the start, you know, there's no way that Colin would be able to go up to her and be like, come to my hotel room, you're going to do all of this stuff for me, you're going to go crazy, like, just not happening. I think they genuinely fell in love, and they have love between them. And for me, Colin does love her, like, fully in on Talia. This is how he shows his love, because he doesn't have any other like role model of how to express himself. So he's getting caught in this whirlwind of emotions of like, okay, well, look, you're with me. You say you're with me. You're either not or you are. Now, if you are, this is what I need to do to get back. You're part of my family. So my mum and dad being dead, that's part of your problem now. And you need to be with it, because otherwise you're not part of who I am. I have to trust you with it. So I don't think it came up actually going through, and this is how this is a journey together. And once we get over this, we can move forward and we can be happy. But this needs to get out of the way first.
You put that in such an amazing way, because I was over here like, Colin has been laying it down, and she is just like in love with that and is making her do some crazy things. I have said that since the first love scene between Colin and Talia, and I'm like, that's why she's doing it. This makes all the sense now. But now that you put it that way, I have a whole new perspective.
I love it.
So
well,
I like the way that you put it as well.
Well, I always thought
some craziness.
I always thought that this was that, you know, you explained it well, that I always thought that was Colin's perspective. I'm gonna need a little more from Talia to understand, because my perspective was, you could easily go and, you know, get your fix and then bye.
Yeah, I think she had her own way of approaching it as well, and I think for it to make sense for her, it had to come from that point. I don't want to speak for her, but that was maybe part of the process. It was great working with her, and like we made it a point to make each other comfortable with both sides and discuss some of the parts and you know, get comfortable with it all and get comfortable with material, because it was like, welcome to set, here's your bed, go for it.
That moves pretty fast.
It really does. Like a lot of people who work in soaps and especially on Days have all said like everything goes very quickly. And the one thing that, you know, we'd like to give you kudos for is that you really came into this role and like were very settled into it. You know, we believed, you know, what Colin was doing. Some people may not have like quite understood why he was going through the lengths of what he was doing, but like the way that you portrayed him, you really brought him to life and really tried to show people like why he was taking these steps and why he was doing what he was doing, because in his mind, it made 100% sense to get after these people who had completely like gotten rid of his family and like took away, you know, what he knew as family. So kudos to you for that and for bringing this character.
I appreciate it. That's very kind
of course.
Now, pushing forward to where, you know, Colin is now, where the plan is kaput, but the bubble does not seem to have burst in his head yet on revenge. So what can you tell us about, you know, where his mind space is now that everything has been revealed?
The job's not done until it's done.
Oh, okay. You know, that's a very Colin thing to say.
I had to like go back into his headspace for a minute. Pin it down.
Someone did ask about the actual like leap off of the roof, which we took a moment to kind of examine how everyone fell, how the awning, you know, came into play and everything like that. But during that initial scene, you know, we kind of saw the 1, 2, and then the go over. What did you guys like? One, was that you? And like, what did you guys like land on? Did you just kind of go over and they were just like cut? Like, what was that moment like?
It was fun. I enjoy fight scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've had experience with stage combat and that. And one of the films that I did was most of the things I was doing were fight scenes and crazy getting thrown around. So this was fun, and approaching doing it with Talia was interesting, and like having the back and forth. I was actually sick one of the days we were supposed to go, and I was being like, extra cautious because I know how close everyone gets and how I didn't want to get anyone sick, because I know you never want to stop any production. It wasn't like COVID or anything, but I was just doing double checks and whatnot. So there was a part of it that I wasn't there, but then obviously we filmed all of my bits once I was well enough to go, and we more just land on the roof.
Okay.
We do the main fight and like the main throwing around and getting with each other, and then someone else took over for the crazy stuff. Now you see, like, I'm jumping out of planes, so I was up for it.
Yeah. Listen,
give me a real roof.
Right. I mean, jumping out of a plane and like jumping over like a roof onto a mat. I think you could. I think you could have handled that. 100%.
We'll take it.
Yeah. How has this experience been for you? I know working in soaps, can be kind of a whirlwind. But I think this is with soaps, it really does test your strengths and talents as an actor. How has this experience of playing Colin been for you?
It's been incredible, honestly. And I really appreciate what you said earlier about like saying I was completely settled in, but just to let everyone know that I'm not superhuman and didn't just come in like all confident. I was the first 2 days I was there, I was like a little tense, and I was a little rusty, and I was not that I was self-conscious, but I hadn't focused on the things I used to do to get me really into something. And and it was a whirlwind, taking everything in. And it's, for me, this is a real cross section of film and theatre and TV. Like with the way it's shot, the amount of dialogue you have, it's close to the theatre side, right? With your, you have to get 20 pages down for 1 day shooting, and you got it the week before, and you've got 3-4 episodes, maybe in a week, maybe more. And I've really enjoyed the challenge of having all of that dialogue to go over and get it in my brain, get it in my body, get it feeling good, and rehearse it enough and do it differently. If you see my rehearsal process again, I go like crazy variants on how I do the scenes, just to get it like you're prepared for anything. If you prepare like in the most crazy way possible, then you're comfortable when you do it on set. But I think one of the biggest things is relaxing. I think we often forget whenever we go into situations is you've been asked to be here. You're here for a reason, and you've got one job to do, and just do it well. Focus on just doing that. None of the other stuff matters. Just do your job well, turn up, and just be relaxed. So instead of like, sometimes I was working out before I go on set, because obviously you have to look good when we're taking our tops off and that.
Yeah.
And then after like, a little bit, I would do that in the morning, but then an hour before I would go up for the first scene, I would fully relax, do breath work, do breathing work, do stretching. And as soon as I did that, it's like a change of how I would approach things. I know I was in my own space, and I know I'm like letting out secrets, but I look crazy when I go on set. I go onto the set beforehand, and I've got my headphones in, and I'm like drumming away on my own. I'm like walking around in the space. I'm like making it all my space. But the minute, it means a lot to do that to me, and the minute I did it is when I felt like, okay, I'm getting this, and I'm doing better at it all. But it was a really great experience working with all the actors and working with Albert and the other directors and the crew, and being able to be there on a show that has such amazing history and such a long history. I feel very grateful to be able to just get to do what I love doing and have other people appreciate it too.
What was it like working with Jessica? Because we actually interviewed her, and she sort of gave us a little inside information that you were coming, and she seemed very excited.
She spilled your presence in Salem months ago.
Yeah. She was like, my brother is coming to town, and we were like, your brother, brother is coming.
Tell me more, please.
Yes.
She's fantastic. It was very like playful with her as well, with the dialogue, and getting sunk into the relationship that we, as brother and sister, estranged brother and sister, like working out what that is, but then just being able to play with all of the dialogue and having that close relationship. Any brother and sister, even if they are estranged and they haven't seen each other for 5-8 years, whatever it is, you've still got your childhood together. So it comes out, and it was fun, her coming in and telling me off for what I was doing. And then me trying to like go, no, you're not big sis anymore. I'm gonna do what I want.
You're not adults anymore. You're not, two individuals. You're back home together.
And you instantly drop into that, which is it. Hopefully that came across, that we like sunk into that playful relationship. But I really enjoyed doing those scenes with her as well, and she always turns up looking fabulous.
I mean, listen, in another life, I too would like to look like Jessica. One day.
We're choosing, why not?
Well, Jasper, we don't want to keep you too long. We really were looking forward to sitting and chatting with you, and we thank you so much for jumping out of a plane. And still being here on time. We really appreciate that. But before we let you go, though, I always like to ask this last question. In one word, and we always say just one word, because in soaps, if you give too many words, like people can pick up on a lot of stuff. So in one word, can you tell us or describe for us what we may see moving forward?
I think I've been good so far. I've been like tight-lipped, being quiet about everything. So I'm trying to find the right word. I'm better at doing phrases, but it goes with what. Can I use 3 words?
You can use 3 words.
Expect the unexpected.
Okay. We'll take that Big Brother line.
That works.
We'll take that. We'll take it. Well, Jasper, thanks again so much for joining us, and we definitely hope we all put it to a vote earlier. We said we don't want Colin to leave the canvas just yet, because I feel like we're just getting to know him. So we definitely hope we see more of you, and we definitely hope that you'll come back and chat with us some more about all of Colin's things.
I would love to. I would really love to, and I really appreciate you guys having me on. I promise next time I come on, I'll have a better background for you guys. or I'll be jumping out the plane and on the way down.
That would be perfect.
Next time, just do that. I mean, listen, technology is amazing, and you can send texts like on an airplane. So why not be able to do an interview while you're jumping out of a plane?
Exactly. Why not? Yeah, we'll make it all possible.
Yeah,
I really appreciate you guys having me on, and all your support, and the really nice, lovely things you've said about me today. Like, it's really nice to have your support and have you all watching along. Thank you.
Absolutely. Like we said, you're an amazing talent, and the Colin wouldn't be Colin without what you've done to really bring him to life. So we appreciate that. So thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right. Have a good one. Go get some rest. Like take a breather now that you're on land.
And then go back.
Round 2.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, Jasper.
Great. Thanks, Jasper. Take care.
Bye. I like him.
Yeah,
that was Dishin Days first, guys.
That was a first. Like I loved. Let me tell you something. I was late just getting from my room.
I know, me doesn't feel lazy.
To the other room.
Right?
The fact that he went up in the air, jumped out of a plane, grabbed his phone and was like, "Be right back."
When he said I'm at the skydiving, I thought he was going to say I'm going in an hour or 2 or something.
Yeah.
I just landed and I got in my car and
just landed. That's amazing. So I hope you all watching and listening definitely enjoyed our interview and our chat with Jasper, and I hope you guys appreciate him just a little bit more. So thank you guys. Well, that has been today's episode of Dishin Days, and of course, before we head out, Justin Lee Hareld, what is that one little social media platform that folks can find you on?
You can find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
Beautiful.
Yes, just the one.
Araceli, now that technology has caught up with you, where can they find you on the social medias platform?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Tia323Araceli.
Look at that as she sips her drink. Must be nice to be on multiple platforms, isn't it, Araceli?
It's not terrible.
See? There you go. Oh, and if you guys want to say hi to Michael Mattis, you guys can follow him at ML Mattis. And of course, you can find me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook at Lounging with Tony. And of course, you guys can find all of us on Dishin Days show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and of course, Dishin Days on the Twitter. We want to thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will be back next week for another full dish of this coming week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera Days of Our Lives, where babies are running amok. Thanks once again to Jasper Newman for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week. Enjoy your lovely Sunday. And I had to stretch this out so that I could find this. Bye, y'all.
Bye.